Hey everyone, Miss White here, and today we're going to start a new genre, a new type of book, or we're going to start talking about a new type of book. The past couple weeks we've been talking about fiction versus nonfiction. What is fiction? What is nonfiction? And we've learned many times that fiction is fake, right? It's made up stories in all sorts of areas, from fantasy to adventure to realistic fiction to historical fiction, and we've learned that nonfiction is not fake. Therefore, it's real stories, fact books, biographies, all that fun stuff. Well, now we're going to talk about an introduction to novels, and we're going to start talking about what novels are. Well, we see novels in a variety of genres, a variety of categories. Awesome. In case you're wondering, please take out your reading notes. You need to add this to your notes. Some of those include mysteries, or historical fiction, or realistic fiction, or science fiction, or fantasy, or dystopian, or there are so many. And then sometimes they even kind of mix up a bunch of these. In addition to all of these types of novels, you also want to understand that there's some vocabulary we're going to learn. You're going to learn about a protagonist. And you're going to learn about the setting and plot and theme and conflict. You're going to learn about all of these. Well, there are two main types of writing that often fall under the fictional category of writing. And those areas are short stories, which we actually have read several of, like The Sandcastle, The Three Wishes. Several of these would fall under the category of short story. In addition to those, we also have what we're going to be talking about, and that's the novel. But before we get started, I want to go ahead and make sure you understand what is the same between these two. Well, to begin, they all have all of this. So short stories and novels are fictional. Short stories and novels contain characters. Short stories and novels follow a plot. Short stories and novels are narratives. Short stories and novels describe a setting. Short stories and novels communicate a mood and have a theme. They both of these have all of these every time without fail. However, short stories and novels are also very different. Well, to begin with, novels have at least 100 pages or more. It could have a whole bunch of different subplots. So of your main storyline, but then sometimes you have like little storylines all throughout it. You also have several different characters, not just one or two, but there's usually a whole array, a variety, many different characters. But within that, there are very specific characters and how they develop and who they are and what happens. You have your protagonist, your main character that's really like making the story run, and his problems and things that are going on. He or she has a main problem and also has some other little problems. These are just the main things that a novel has. Whereas for short stories, they're often intended to just be read all at once. Sit, read, done. There's really no minor plots. It's all, this is what happened, then this is what happened, then this is what happened, done. It's not this was happening and then at the same time all this took place. There's none of the real double-sided stuff happening. Then There's only a few characters, typically 2 or 3. And as you know, the protagonist, there's really one major overarching problem or main idea or concept. Okay, so using your notes, okay, so feel free to use your notes and work together. I know this is sometimes a challenge. Work together. Work in your pods. If you're sitting by yourself, find a pod. You have 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so nobody should be sitting alone. Nobody. Okay, so now the question is, I have 3 scenarios for you. Is it a novel or is it a short story? Why? In your notes, I want you to write down just the number 1, 2, or 3 and write short story or novel and a reason why. Okay? Short story, novel, and a reason why. You have to choose. Okay? You can work together. A 287-page piece of science fiction that tells the story of a group of aliens and their leaders who live on planet Zuricon. Is that a short story or a novel? Why? 10 seconds. Okay. A 10-page myth about how the character Anansi tricked the sun. Would this be a novel or a short story? Why? What's your reason? Jot it down. Turn and talk with your group and jot it down. 10 seconds. Okay, great. Last one. A work of historical fiction that takes place around the Civil War. The protagonist is a girl named Honor, who is one of the 5 sisters. The story follows the girls from the time they were children through young adulthood. Okay, I'll read that again. A work of historical fiction that takes place around the Civil War. The protagonist is a girl named Honor, who is one of 5 sisters. The story follows the girls from the time they were children through young adulthood. Short story or novel? Why do you think that? Give me a reason. Talk with your group. Write it down. 10 seconds. Awesome. That's awesome. Let's go back over them real quick. A 287-page piece of writing. Well, that's already over 100 plus pages. That alone is a reason why it's a novel. Because it has over 100 pages. Another reason is because it tells the story of a group of aliens and their leaders. So it's multiple characters, right? So we have a lot more than just 2 or 3 characters here. Okay, let's do the second one. A 10-page myth means it's under 100, means it's probably a short story. And it's really about 2 main characters or concepts. So this one is a short story because it's under 100 pages and because it only has a few characters. Let's do the last one. Okay, a work of historical fiction that takes place around the Civil War. The protagonist is a girl named Honor, who is one of 5 sisters. Well, that's multiple characters. The story follows the girls from the time they were children through young adulthood. Let's look. What's another reason? Let's look back in your notes. It also has a very developed character because a girl named Honor, the protagonist, they've developed this character to explain things. It's over a long period of time. If it's following 5 sisters, it probably has several different subplots, right? So this one is probably what am I saying? It's not a short story, a novel. Even though it doesn't say the exact page numbers, we can infer based on the information here that it is a novel. Okay, awesome. We'll have to check that later. But now I want you to think for a second. Is the book you're reading, does it lean more towards the side of a novel or more towards the side of a short story? Your choice book. Or is it something totally different? Tell me what it is. Is it a short story? Is it a novel? Or is it something totally different? And why? Take a few seconds to jot that down, and then I'll talk to you later. Bye.